First of all, I'd like to welcome you to my first video blog on weathering the Deagostini Millennium Falcon. Now the series has only just started, but a lot of people have been asking me how I achieve certain techniques on my build on the Model Space forum. So I thought that, well, hey, look, I'll do a video tutorial. Try and keep it as simplified as possible using different techniques, from rattle cans, Tamiya paints, Helford's paints, to using airbrushing and alclad paints, pastels, Valleos and the like. I've got two parts here from the new set of Deagostini parts. I've not done any modifications, I'm not going to. I've done that specifically for another build. So to get us started, what I've done on here really is just give it a good bath with soapy warm water to remove any of the release agent. Let it thoroughly air dry, and next we're going to be giving it a coat of white primer, and for that I'm going to be using the Tamiya fine surface primer. So follow me, we're going to go into the spray booth and we're just going to give these a couple of light coats of the primer. Okay, so we're in the spray booth, well, utility room to be quite honest. We've just got my spray booth in here and that, and my setup, and as you can see we've got the Tamiya fine surface primer ready. I've just put the parts really just sitting on a couple of old rattle can caps, so let's turn the fan on and start to give these a little bit of a thing. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so you're going to have to bear with me. Unfortunately I don't have my slave with me today, she's at work. So as you can see, we're just giving light coats, nothing drastic to begin with. Then you can see that because I'm trying to do two things at once. We've done that, and give that a bit of a turn around once again. Some light coats, and then basically what we do is we just wait for about 15 or 20 seconds, and then give that another light dusting, so that it's a good covering, nothing heavy. As you notice, I'm about 6 or 7 inches away from the parts. Don't want to clog it up, even though it's fine surface and it's self-leveling. We really want to be careful that we don't get any major build-ups. Okay, so there you have it, that's those parts done. Okay, just leave that on for a bit. Now leave those to dry a good couple of hours. I normally speed the process up by placing the parts on top of a radiator that's here in the utility room, and when I say it speeds the process up, it speeds it up for about up to about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. Parts are now thoroughly dry, so what we're going to do is we're going to start doing some of the pre-shading for the panels. Okay, so this is obviously an alclad, using an alclads, and this is the exhaust manifold ALC123, and you'll see that go on. But one of the other panels I'm going to keep aside because I'm going to be doing that with pastels so that you can see the two different techniques involved. Alright, so I'm just going to prep the airbrush, get that ready, put some of the alclads in there, and we're then going to start airbrushing the panel. Okay, this isn't going to be easy because normally I just hold the part and then airbrush it, but just so that you can see that we've got a bit of air, and now we're going to just start pre-shading it. So I'll try and keep this as steady as I can, but like I said, I'm trying to do one or two things at the same time, which is not easy. Okay. as you can see there, got a couple of panels done. Just going to highlight some of the others, and don't worry about the blockiness of it, etc., because you will see as we go along how much that this will look different as we go further and further along. So we're all going all over the main areas, around the edges, to get as much of the detail as possible. And once we're in there, just spin that around. Once again, doing exactly the same. Like so. Some of those little areas. Sprays missed. Like I said, won't worry too much about that. So we're going to be picking that up later on. Okay. The stuff more or less dries instantly, so just going to leave that there for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to show you the next stage, which you'll probably, well, I say won't understand, but it's just the way that I do things to tone it down. Okay, fans back on, and got the Tammet Prime Surface Primer in white again, and we're now going to start going over and giving it another coat, which will then start to tone the panels down, as you can see. Nothing heavy, just giving it a light dusting so that the grime and the pre-shading sits nicely. Like so. And as that starts to dry, we then move back into the other room. You'll notice how much that actually stands out. Any places that we missed, it's a bit of a thing, but don't worry too much about it. Don't forget, she's the fastest hunk of junk. So let that dry, and we'll come back in a moment. Okay, that's dry. Welcome back. Next, what we're going to do is the next stage is that we're going to be giving it all a bit of a wipe over, a buff over. Now, what that does is it just takes a bit of the glazing and it gives something for the rest of the paints and the pastels to stick to. And to get that, I use the Micromesh 3600 grit. So we're not taking the paint off, if you see what I mean. There might be some areas where we are, but all it is, it's just to go over it and just to smooth down any areas. Doesn't matter if it's being exposed, because you'll see all of that area will be sort of like hidden later on when other paints and bits and pieces will be added to it. So you want to give it the impression that there's been wear and tear on the panels. So even if it is a case of giving it a good rub, especially on some of the seam lines, okay. Hopefully you can see that. I've got the iPad precariously hovering over the sink at the moment, so I'm trying to keep an eye on that without that dropping into the sink at the same time as doing this, so, but seems to be okay. So once again, there you go, 3600 Micromesh. I'll move that out of the way now. 3600 Micromesh cloth, great stuff. You can get them in packs of all different thicknesses. So just give that a rinse down. Once we've given that a rinse, once again, let that thoroughly dry. Just dry my hands, and then we'll go back into the other room. Right, I'm not making a cup of tea. It's basically a secret recipe of mine. Not so secret, I suppose, now, considering I've also had it on the forum build, and it's just something that I thought, let's see what happens, give it a go. If it doesn't work, always drink it, I suppose. So first of all, a couple of tea bags, some boiling hot water, leave that in there. Give it a bit of a stir because we want it nice and strong. Okay, and once that's nicely brewed, we're going to let it sort of like go semi-cold, I suppose. So the beauty about videos, I have to wait about 10-15 minutes, whereas you only have to wait a couple of seconds. So see you in a moment and I'll show you what I'm doing next. It's cooled down a bit now, and as you probably well know, whenever you make a pot of tea you get a bit of scum that tends to sort of like sit on the top, so we don't want too much of it. So anyway, what I do is get the part and you just basically gently roll it in and then take it out. I don't know if you saw that, probably not, but then again that's my clumsy video in. So all we're doing is we're putting the part in and then rolling it out. Now once we've done that, just put that aside to dry, and as you will notice, if I can get it on there and that, you'll notice that bits of scum from the tea are starting to form on there. Okay, going to do that with the same with the other part. Now don't forget we didn't pre-shade this, but it's something obviously that you can do for when we're using the pastels. Okay, now the other reason that I tend to do this, and that is that if you look on the studio scale models, they seem to have this off-white. I know with the lighting and that you can't see that, but later on hopefully you will do. The tea is basically staining the paint. So once again, let that do that, let that dry, and then we're going to be going on to the pre-shading and bits and pieces.